Thursday, 7 o'clock, the Garnet and Old Show. No inside info, no contacts, no problem. I'm Ryan, that's Vince. Happy Thursday, everyone. As
Yeah.
I call it, Friday Eve.
Hopefully no copyright problem on the audio there. We'll see what happens. All of a sudden, Ryan and I out of the blue. If you're wondering why the music changed on the countdown, it's like all of a sudden after a year, oh, you're sharing the revenue with blah blah blah. Well, I don't mind that, except that when I put that together, Ryan, it was royalty free, copyright stuff, and then all of a sudden it's not. So we'll see what happens with the new one.
I say you get the old Chiefs back together and make a custom recording of you guys.
That's not a bad idea, Ryan. But I think I'd have a hard time getting the OGs together to do that. Of course, nowadays you could kind of do it in your own home, and
Yeah, GarageBand it, man.
we can get it together that way. I mean, that might be fun.
Or
Speaking of-
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT can do it all. Speaking of old Chiefs, Ryan, this weekend, homecoming.
Homecoming this week. I've never been less enthused. Now, Vince, we're going to get into topic du jour, which I think is coaching searches. But, boy,
Ryan, are you at your new studio?
I am, yes. I just have not yet done anything with it yet.
So Ryan, yeah, everybody, if you recall, Ryan has moved to Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
He is he's in the throes of Mouseville, and he's in the process of getting his studio together. So he will be occupying Captain Black Fishing Studios South or Central, and I am here in the Captain Black Fishing Studios Northeast.
What I need you to do, Vince, is just send me a link of those lights that you got in the background where you got, and because I like them.
Yeah, they're pretty slick, and they are reasonably priced. I will definitely send you a link.
Perfect. I've also taken the opportunity in moving into the new place to transition from I'm going to say the Echo word, the Amazon word,
Right.
to full HomeKit everything.
Yep, it's time.
Yeah. It takes effort, and I hadn't had the effort to rethink creating the rooms and migrating the smart lights and everything. But how does my lighting look, Vince?
Oh, first of all, you've got the background blur looks really sharp. The lighting looks good.
The angle's better.
The angle's better. Ryan had sent me a picture earlier this week about what it's going to look like. He sent me a picture of it. Ryan is doing it up right, people. Even though the team is not performing well, Garnet and Old is trying to perform well regardless. And I know you're not enthused about this weekend, Ryan, but I am, because I get to reconnect with, I get to reminisce and reconnect with a lot of the best memories I ever had as a Nole.
You know who else is excited is Brett Taylor. Shout out to Brett Taylor. Finally get back to watching it live. Otherwise, been occupied the last few weeks. And watch it later. Hey, even if you watch it later, I appreciate you watching it later.
Oh, yeah.
You're one of the OGs, Brett Taylor. Because
right.
it doesn't matter, live or subscriber, it doesn't affect us at all. So either way is good.
Yeah, either way is good. I mean, if you're live, it's awesome because you can comment and chat, and we can kind of talk back and forth. But the other reason why it's great is because, man, when the team's not doing so well, sometimes it's crickets around here, Ryan.
Yeah, but you know what? We have some news to talk about. There's been a lot of scuttlebutt, especially in the last 24 hours. Let's get right into it, Vince. UNLV offensive coordinator Brennan Marion, likely, unless a head coaching position of note, now it can't be any position that would potentially sway him away, it looks like is going to be our offensive coordinator, barring some unforeseen change. Now, what I like is the numbers he's put up at a place like UNLV, and I like he has a relationship with Mike Norvell. What I don't like is that he's been at a different school every year, seems like for eternity. Um, so there's pros and cons to that. Now, listen, Norvell's no stranger, Vince, to having people on his staff that he encourages to get promoted. He actively tells you that. Look at Kenny Dillingham, right? Um, at the same time, I think to myself, I'm a stability guy, and I like to get at least minimum, like maybe like 3 years out of an OC. So hypothetically, I could see this guy come in if he's already getting some head coaching offers, not prestigious ones, but some. You could see him if he came into this dumpster fire of an offense, and next year we're, you know, pretty good. You could see him getting a real head coaching job offer from a bigger time school, maybe in the, not if not the Power Two, at least some of the Big 12 schools. So I got to keep that in the back of my head. I understand that Mike Norvell is in fix it no matter what mode, even if it's a year rental. But I tend to lean on longevity. So, what are your thoughts?
So I think you probably can, calculate what my thoughts on this are. I'm a stability guy too because that's the way my Knoll fandom came about. Bobby's staff was together. The predominant staff was together for a really really long time, which that doesn't really happen anymore.
Right.
And think about it this way, Ryan. If Marion comes in and he's getting bigger head coaching offers in 2 years, that means things have gone really, really well here.
Yes, and I
And
would
so,
like those to keep going well here.
yeah, and I'm okay with that because that bodes well. That bodes well, and there would be another example of Mike Norvell, making a quality coaching hire. And to top it all off, Marion is an above average, and some say well above average recruiter.
Yep. Especially when he was at Texas for the wide receiver coach, and he helped a lot in the recruiting trail for a lot of their recruits. Which, if you guys haven't noticed, Texas is pretty good,
Yeah, some would say not as good as their record indicates because of the schedule they've played.
but still, their talent on their roster.
That's a joke, man.
We
That's a
don't. We
joke.
don't. I don't even want to entertain the CFP playoff
No, no.
committee.
Yeah, if you're following all that, I am too, but I'm doing it in more of a silent mode. I'm just kind of in the background laughing at all of these people that are all of a sudden out of nowhere understanding and finally getting on the bus
Yep.
about what that whole nonsense shenanigans are all
Right.
about. I'm just kind of sitting back, just going, okay, everybody, or a lot of people kind of trashed Knoll fans last year for the things that were being said and whatever. But man, welcome. You finally made it. Welcome. The water's fine. Actually, the water's not fine.
Yeah. Back to the UNLV stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've seen his number; they look good. Here's
Yeah.
the thing: I really appreciated the point of view. I don't know if you listened in the last few days to Jeff Cameron show.
When
Uh,
I don't know that I've hit anything in the last couple days.
I want to touch on something he brought up, which is the most valid point I've heard about this search. He used like two or three examples of amazing coordinators hired as big time schools, coordinator or head coach. Amazing job at first, out of the sport almost 4 or 5 years later. He used Tom
Right.
Herman as an example.
Right.
So I am not in a place where I can say good hire, bad hire for this coach or any of the coaches that he hires. What it's going to be is wait to see. There's going to be a whole lot of, and it's going to be terrible because it's a long time because we're going to be waiting all off season to finally find out what's the deal with this staff. Um,
As
so
far as X's and O's are concerned, yes, you're right.
right,
But we're going to find out quicker on their ability to build
sure.
relationships and recruit. We
Here
are.
here's my thoughts though. Is that um, if you had told me at the beginning of this season that we'd be awful, I would have laughed. So I'm at a place now that I think it's a prove it type situation. So what I want the message to the people out there watching the show right now to be is, if you love the hire, hate a different, maybe it's a different person for DC or OC, or you hate the hire, don't overreact one way or the other. Don't be all in. Don't be all out. And this guy's gonna suck. Just simply say, let's see how it goes.
I need a clapping sounder. I need a clapping sounder because Ryan, I'm just so proud of your growth in this area. It does my heart good. And by the way, it's going to do your heart good to have this kind of more even keel idea on these things. College football and our passion for our alma mater is a passion. It is an emotional thing.
Mm-hmm.
It can make your life. It can ruin your day. It can do all those things. But ultimately, Jeff Cameron's right, and I've said this for a long time myself. That is, someone could be a rock star somewhere else, and you think you've hit the jackpot, and for some reason, whatever, it doesn't work here. you
Yeah.
know or it does to start with and then it doesn't. Look at 2024, right?
Look at Brian Kelly right now.
Yes, I mean, they looked terrible against Florida. I mean, absolutely terrible against Florida. So yeah, absolutely, it's definitely wait and see. I'm going to be excited just because there's new stuff happening. And when there's new stuff happening, there's optimism and there's hope, but it remains to be seen. Ryan, is this coaching or life? That's right. It's life advice, people.
And it comes with age. I will tell you that. You always heard that growing up, and when you're a young man, and you're like, "Ah, come on, it's just boomer talk or whatever." And then I'm telling you, I'm an elder millennial. I'm 37 years old. I'm almost a man. I'm almost 40. Uh, with if you some of the things that are happening this year had happened when I was 25, you'd hear curse words and this is f and this and f and that. Like, how could what fire? It would just be nonstop tirades. But when you've
Yeah.
seen the the lost decade, and then you've seen Jimbo winning a title, and then you've seen after you've been through a few decades, it's like, all right, well, I don't know, I can't predict one or the other. And if I was the most passionate fan ever, how this is going to go. So I'm just here.
Right. You're here for the ride no matter what.
Yeah.
And when we first started this show years ago, Ryan, and we were, getting our feet wet, what kind of content we going to talk about? And we started like early in the summer one time. I was like, well, let's do a show on like our greatest memories or things that kind of struck home with us about being a Nole. And I told this story back long ago, and I tell this story often. My first game was the Blockbuster Bowl, and that was my first game live.
Just the name alone has aged you.
Yes, and so Florida State won that game, and then I came in '91, and Florida State is in the middle of the dynasty, kicking butt. I'd never seen them lose a game, and wide right one happens, and I'm 21 years old at the time, right? This is the honest to God truth, Ryan. I left that game, got in bed, and did not get out of bed till Monday morning. That is no lie. It killed me. Like it hurt my soul. It's not that way anymore, man.
Yeah.
I'm definitely there for the highs, but I don't get ridiculously high. And for the lows, I know that there's a turnaround. You just gotta you gotta wait for it, and sometimes you gotta wait too long for it. But
Yeah.
these coaches, whoever they're going to be, they're either going to do the job and do it well, or they're not. And if they don't, then you're talking about a wholesale change across the
Yeah.
board.
What's funny is, Vince, is I had a similar moment. So my first home game I went to was in 2005 against the Citadel. Drew Weatherford was the starting quarterback. That was a
Yes,
good
I
time.
remember that game.
We won that game. But the first moment I had, like what you just described, live, like I'd had plenty of those watching on TV, but it was, I think it was 2007 or 2008. I can't remember which one was the home game. I was a student at the time against Miami on Labor Day night.
Oh
And
yeah,
it poured down rain. They told the students at the beginning of the game to go undercover, and we all chanted "F the Lightning" like a young person would do. And that was the game where Christian Ponder rolled out and missed. I think it's Fortson in the end zone,
Garmin Fortson.
and it looked like a touch
He
from the
missed it.
stands. It looked like a
Fortson got
touchdown
the ball. Yeah.
from the stands. We all started celebrating. I turned around. We were partying. Um, I skipped school the next day, Vince.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I was parked at a friend's house on a very steep hill. A lot of hills in Tallahassee, and his driveway was one of the very steep ones. And I had a Honda Civic, and I backed out in anger, and my front end fell off. This was at midnight because the game didn't get out to midnight. So I threw my front end into the back of my car, drove home, and then sulked for a solid 24 hours. That's what you do when you're 22 and full of testosterone, you know.
I'm telling you, we've all been there as Knowles. We've all actually with any fandom. You've been there where your soul is crushed for whatever. And by the way, if you're here watching right now, you are a Knoll fan. Let me tell you, there are upwards of 50 people watching live right now. And if you wouldn't mind, hit the like button on the YouTube. And if you're not watching on YouTube, head over to YouTube briefly, hit the like button, then go back to Twitter or X or Blue Sky or wherever you're watching from.
Absolutely. A good message there, Vince. But to wrap a bow on this coaching search talk,
Who
I
else, Ron?
before I get into that,
Okay.
I want to throw one thing out there. And I'm still standing by this. The coaching hire has not been made yet, and I don't think it will be. And let me tell you why, Vince. I don't think it will happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But I actually still believe that if we lose this weekend, Mike Norvell will be fired the next day. I'm not joking, and I think it's highly unlikely. I think it's 99 out of 100 we win this weekend, and Mike Norvell makes the hire. But here's the buildup is insane. So everywhere around, on every social platform, on every show, every single person is saying there's no way you lose that game. I mean, come on, come on, look who it is, right? When you have that kind of feeling amongst everyone who covers the team, that's clearly, I would think, the feeling inside the locker room. I would imagine that's clearly the feeling in the boardrooms of Florida State. That it's almost an afterthought. This weekend, we're playing FCS team. Of course, it'd be nice to get the win, right? Um, let's go focus on coaching hours. But because of all this, it could never happen talk. I think there would be so many calls for it and so much pressure on the athletic director that if we were to lose this weekend, especially if it was in a either embarrassing fashion, like we get blown out, or in a clearly the coaching decisions and what we're doing and the players seem to quit or anything like that. Now, if we lost on a walk off field goal in a weird fashion, yeah, no, but I'm talking like let's say it's 35-10 FCS wins, or all the players look like they quit during the game, right? And maybe there's some like arguments on the sideline, that kind of nonsense, right? I'm telling you, I will not put it out of the realm of possibility that if we lost this game, that something more drastic would happen before any hires get made.
Well, hold on a second. I have a point about that. But Jeremy, you're right. It's smash the like button. You got to remember I'm older. It's not hit the like button. It's smash the like button. Um, yeah, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen because anything can happen at any time. But the likelihood is very, very low.
It is.
And if it did happen, do I think there would be a I mean, there's always a possibility, yes. But Ryan,
More, It would go from 100% Mike Norvell is going to be here to 97% he's going to be here, but maybe there's a sliver. I think
Okay.
that would be it.
I'm okay with that, but I'm not going to topsy turvy and go,
I'm not
oh
predicting that.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying it drops the odds from 100% he's not going anywhere to maybe.
yeah. So okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I will allow it. I will allow that.
Thank you.
Any other ideas on coaching? I know I'd heard something about as far as defense is concerned. I haven't heard too many names about that yet. Have you heard anything?
My guess is follow the breadcrumbs people who Mike Norvell has either worked with in the past or
Of course. Yeah, yeah,
has
yeah.
been on a share team. I think Mike Norvell's that kind of guy. I think some coaches in the world of college football look around and regardless on if they've ever worked for him or whatever, just look for who's when we
Who's
brought in Kendall Briles, Willie Taggart and Kendall Briles had no previous history together, but Willie Taggart said, "Hey, I need someone to come in here and fix the offense, so I'm going to get someone who matches my style, maybe of how we want to get there, go fast and everything." But
yeah.
they had no experience together. You saw Jimbo Fisher bring in what's his name last year, 2 years. You know what I mean? So it, I don't think Mike Norvell's that guy. I think he will always replace someone with someone he was intimately aware of and knows the name of.
I think one of the reasons why that is accurate about him is he's such a relationship guy,
Hmm.
but also like it seems to be, and what people have said is that he he knows he's been planning the exit of the people that are gone. Now maybe he didn't plan it the way it happened,
Yeah,
but eventually Alex Atkins is going to go. So who am I going to look at?
right.
So I think he already, and you would say that all head coaches should do that. That's probably true. I don't know that they all do that. So yeah, he's going to have a list of people, and rightly so. It's just like when I got the job that I have now, Ryan.
Replacing
Somebody,
me. No,
no, I'm talking not the
I'm,
role
I'm
coming in.
messing with you. I'm messing with you.
Um, you know, it was because of my relationship with someone that was there, right? And that's the way these things work. So
Yeah.
absolutely about that.
Tomcat writes, "Big Poppy, I'm driving down to give you a hug. I do need a hug. It's been a long week. There's only one process left, Tomcat, that's keeping me down, and that's the knowledge that instead of enjoying my first full weekend without having to move in Mount Dora, kind of, you like to kind of see, drive around, kind of get familiar with everything. Uh, I know I have to go back to the old place and clean it.
Oh, that's the worst. You want to be done with all that.
I want to be sitting here on Saturday watching football all day, having a few drinks, and then maybe going to a local restaurant that I've never been to. But instead, I first have to go there and do the yard work because it has to be clipped and shortened. Now it won't grow anymore after that, so I'll be good. And then I have to. I've rented a small van, like a U-Haul van, the work vans, and just for a few items that we left behind. But yeah, that's going to be a all day Saturday thing. So Tomcat, the hug would be appreciated right now, my man, because half of me in my head, even though you'll never do it, is like I'm just going to leave it all there. I'm not going to. Who cares? They can
I don't
keep
know.
the deposit.
You know what? If I didn't pack that stuff and bring it from the beginning, maybe I
Yeah.
don't really need it.
Right.
So we'll just leave it there and
Yeah.
enjoy the next tenant. Enjoy this, uh, velvet picture of Elvis
Yeah.
hanging in the second bedroom.
Yeah.
Um, so moving on a little bit, when you were mentioning about, is the team quit? I don't necessarily know that you say the team quit. There's definitely guys that have been that are currently on the team that would rather be doing anything else right now than
Loafing.
finishing out this season.
Yeah.
And so that's not new. That is not a new thing. That's been going on for a
That
little
would
while.
happen to any team that's losing this bad, by the way.
So, but you're always going to have your stalwarts that love the game and maybe they're getting their first taste of significant action. They don't care what's going on. They just been chomping a bit to play. If there's any care at all, you know, from a handful of players, the talent discrepancy between these two teams is going to be significant. So,
Right.
and hang my hat on winning a game against an FCS team. I will, because we haven't had a lot of winning at all.
Yeah.
And the weather's going to be beautiful, Ryan.
The weather was great today. I had my windows open all day in the house.
Yeah. So, yeah. So as far as guys quitting, I mean, they've already quit, the specific people, or they're just not going to. So
Yeah.
there we are with that. Points, scoring on offense. We'll see what happens
We got to
on
get your
this.
prediction.
What's that?
We got to get your score prediction.
I'm not giving a score
No,
prediction.
no, you have to. Come on, man.
I'm not doing that.
I'll do
man.
it.
You can do it.
All right. Charleston Southern.
It makes me angry to have to give a score prediction about this weekend.
Charleston Southern 14, Florida State 24.
It's a win.
It would be impossible, even against a bad team, to predict anything more than 30 points.
I am not. Yeah. I stopped. If you look back on the old shows, like, I was pretty bullish at some point the team would break out. And then maybe about 2 or 3 games ago, I'm like, I am not doing that anymore. So, I'm just going to let it lie. Just say, I'm going, like I said, I'm going there to reminisce and be an old geezer.
Just remember, Ryan Perilou almost beat us.
Yeah.
And he didn't. We won. That's what's going to happen.
No. I get that. But like I said, the weather's going to be nice. It's a shame you're not going to be there. But for those of you, if you're watching live now, are you going to be there? Who's going to be there? I want to know who's going to be there. Because if you are going to be there, if you want some good comedy, get there early. Go over to Chiefs Field. The Marching Chiefs alumni are going to be practicing there, and you will see a wide range of ages. It's very interesting to watch. Some people pick up the horn that haven't played for a really long time, and not only try to chief step down the field. Maybe your knees ain't so great anymore. So, and by the way, Skull Session is going to be at Chiefs Field as well. It's not going to be at the baseball stadium because they're doing some work there. So for this week and for the game against Florida, the March of Chiefs Skull Session will be at Chiefs Field.
Vince, I want to put up some scores from our listeners.
Yeah, for sure.
Wilmer writes 31-13. Okay. Brett Taylor 37-14. Right.
Okay.
Tomcat is more in my range. Me and Tomcat, I think we're jaded at this point. So Tomcat says 27-13. And one of my favorite comments of the night comes from our very own Jeremy Ivins. Says tickets were too hard to get to this one.
That's right. They were very difficult, man. Speaking of tickets being hard to get, we had booked a hotel for this weekend long ago, and did the whole refundable thing, because last night we found out the same hotel had dropped their prices by a pretty big amount. So we ended up rebooking at the hotel, saving a bunch of money, and then canceling the original. So audio, we used that earlier.
Vince, I had to give you the clap. You got a sweet deal.
I did get a sweet deal. Yeah. The tickets are not hard to come by. Several years ago, I took a high school tuba player to a game where the band invited about 100 high school tuba players to perform with them at halftime. How about that?
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's recruiting. You think It's just the sports teams that do the recruiting. No, absolutely not. The marching chiefs recruit as well.
Vince, what is that picture there on that user?
I don't know what that is, um, but I'm not going to say anything about it. It could be this person's actual picture, and everybody gets to choose what they want to be and what they want to look like.
All right. Next topic, Vince. What do we got?
Um, Money. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about searching for money.
I'm always searching for money.
Do any of you, to anybody watching the show, do any of you are you friends with or follow Mark Ziegler on Twitter or on Facebook? He's a professor at Florida State. If you do, then you saw a recent post from him. I think it was from yesterday. Now, Mark Ziegler is, he was never a professor of mine. But for people that have had him, they absolutely love him, and they talk about him long after they've graduated. But he is a diehard Nole and has been for the majority of his life, and he talked about that in a post that he did yesterday. But apparently, he received his booster call meeting, and it did not go so well. Much to the tune of the person on the other end of the line was trying to get him to commit to, I think, some seats on the west side.
That's not
And
encouraging at all.
and he was referring to being on the opposite side as being with the riffraff.
Hmm.
So, there's a lot of things that you can try to accomplish as a salesperson. Taking a tack of turning someone off by belittling others,
Hmm.
probably not the way to go.
Yeah.
You may hit on someone on the other end of the line that enjoys being better than other people, but you got to know who you were talking to there. Mark Ziegler is not like that at all.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, I'm not saying you have to be in the section next to the student section, but there's plenty of good seats on the other side.
no, and I don't care if you're on the other side, and I don't care if you're in the student section, and I don't care where you are. You're going to refer to people that are donating money to support this program at whatever level they
Oh,
can.
I misunderstood. I thought
We
you were talking about you don't want to be near the riffraff, meaning near the student section. And I could tell you, my first year events, I did have tickets, aisle seats on next to the student section, and for 3 games in a row, I showed up, and the students refused to leave my seats.
right.
So I thought you were talking about that. What you're referring to is them using an elitist perspective to say you don't want to sit with the poor people, essentially.
At least that's the way I read
Yeah,
his comment.
it doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't look good at all. And um, I replied to him, and he was worried that the people were going to read his comment and start blasting him for how he felt about it, but
Yeah.
not at all. Ryan, I'm not wealthy,
Hmm.
like, but I'm settled enough
You're
where
upper middle class.
I feel good about taking some of the money that I've earned
Mhm.
and giving it to my alma mater, which I'm passionate about and that I love, and that many aspects of it, not just the football team, right? The band, obviously, but other things too. The women's basketball program has been very near and dear to my heart. So I don't mind doing that, and I love doing it. But when you start, doing things like that, and by the way, this is on the heels of these decisions about the stadium upgrades and basically pricing out people that have been around for a long, 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 long time.
Mhm.
Not great.
especially when the product sucks.
That's the very next thing I was going to say,
Hmm.
because you cannot hang up the phone and go, it doesn't matter because the next person I call will take these seats because the team just won the ACC championship. It ain't that way.
Hmm.
So, and I don't know. I think it's common sense and logical, but apparently, like people say, common sense is not so common, and we have maybe some people that have not been around the block making these phone calls. It's
Yep.
ridiculous. I haven't had my call yet, Ryan, and I can only assume is that the reason why I haven't gotten my call is my money. There's not enough money coming from me for it to be worth having a phone call.
Yet.
That's the way I take it.
I don't. Can I tell you my honest opinion? I
Yeah,
don't think you'll ever get the phone call.
yeah, could be right.
I think to get all this through and approved and everything. Yeah, we're gonna take care of all the goodwill stuff. But I think um, if the game day experience is any indication this year of how they're managing things off the field on organization, uh, I think there's as much chance as you getting a call as them getting the video board to function perfectly for a game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go completely opposite, right? Because there was some problems at the beginning of the year with logistical things with this program, and I'm not talking about the football program. I'm talking about the game day experience, and they solved a lot of that, and they did it quickly, and I want to give them kudos for that because they listened to people and they followed through on it.
Yeah,
But you know, it's it's not a that's not enough.
yeah,
Right. That's not enough, especially when you're in an uphill battle, you know, trying to get money for whatever reason, whether it's for a football only facility, whether it's for stadium upgrades, whether it's for paying out these coaches that just got an extension, whether it's for NIL money, whatever it's going to be,
yeah,
you you have to they have to be better. It's got to be better, man. The relationships and the communications that come out from this program as a whole have got to be better.
Jeremy writes, they're busy counting the money for Norvell's for the buyout if we lose this weekend.
Talking about riffraff.
Yeah, Vince. I would laugh. Will you give me this on the funny side? On the funny side,
Yeah, sure.
if Norvell got canned after we lost to Charleston Southern, tell me you wouldn't laugh and just be like, Ryan, you son of a. Yeah. You would have to. You'd be like, Ryan. Oh my God, what it?
Well, yes, of course. I would be like,
Yeah, I would laugh.
first of all,
I got
who
something right.
first first of all, with that means somebody with a lot of money
Yeah, ponied up.
just basically lit that money on fire.
Yeah,
And so do I wish I had that kind of care about money? Sure.
yeah,
But man, what a waste. What an absolute waste of money. By the way, I'm going to make our last members only show public after this show because we talked about how ridiculous the contracts are. And Ryan and I came up with a maybe a better way to deal with coaching contracts if it ever came to a point where people, wanted to deal with it logically. But
yeah,
yeah, talk about just lighting your wallet on fire, lighting your bank account on fire.
yeah,
Man, what a waste.
yeah.
What a waste of money.
Oh, Vince, Vince, Vince. I will tell you, I'm
Yeah.
excited about
Kenny Trill's right.
putting it
Kenny
towards the
Trill's right.
NIL. Yeah,
Yeah, take that money instead of getting rid of Norvell. And, just like, you know, um, Ingram Smith said,
Mm.
build the juggernaut, which we didn't actually build it, but build the juggernaut. Put that money toward things that can score points, people that
Yeah.
can catch passes, people that can block.
Yeah, let's
Put
not
the
be
money
last
toward
ever
people that
again.
can play.
Let's not ever be get last in offense ever again. That would be great.
Oh my gosh.
Um, one thing I do want to let's I want to give bright sky things real quick. You know how I like my good feelings. Can I just
Okay.
say how happy I am that there's cold weather here now?
Finally, man.
When I woke up this morning and I woke outside, I only had like 45 minutes till I had to clock in for work, and I went inside, grabbed my shoes, put them on, and went for a walk because I was like, I gotta get out in this.
You put your pants on too,
I put
or
my pants on and everything, which it's optional usually. Um, but man, Vince, if there is something that I love, it's when Florida isn't miserable, and I'm a cold weather guy, always have been. So I'm excited
smash the like button, people.
for the
Uh,
cold weather.
for the cold weather, smash the like button. You're on YouTube. Just do it. It's like free to do it. Please do it. Um, yes, the cold weather. So Ryan, you know me with the Christmas time.
Mm.
My
Have you?
Christmas show is up. The
Oh,
lights are up.
it's already up.
It's already up, and it's already up because there's so much going on with homecoming this weekend and the Florida game next weekend. And if I waited, then I wouldn't be able to enjoy it as much. So the the light show is up and running, and it's been up for 5 or 6 days already. But the first night that I had it done, I went out there to kind of watch it to make sure everything was synced up and everything. I'm getting hammered by mosquitoes.
Mm.
That ain't cool, man. You've got Christmas lights up and you're listening to Christmas music and you have to worry about mosquitoes? No.
You know,
Tonight's the mosquitoes are dead.
mosquitoes are dead. Mariah Carey's busting out of that box. Vince is plugging everything in. He's yelling, "It's time!" and let the good times roll. And the Chick-fil-A light show outside. You do it all. You do it big. Vince, next show you should bring a picture of it.
I will. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. If you are in and around the Jacksonville area, Northeast Florida, and you like Christmas lights, you like to go drive and look at lights, message me on Twitter or Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky. Message me on Facebook and I will give you the address and come by. And if you let me know, you get a little extra special treat when you come to watch the show
Mm.
because that's how we do it here.
I have to ask Vince.
Hmm.
I feel like an idiot. I feel like a boomer. What the hell is Blue Sky? What the fuck is? What is that?
Isn't that what it's called? It's the other social media app.
I don't. You are basically a Gen Zer right now because I have no idea what you're talking about. Every time you said Blue Sky, I thought you were making something up.
Yeah, Blue Sky's been around for a little while, but ever since the first week of November, there's been quite a crush of new people on Blue
Mm.
Sky, and mostly because of and I don't want to get political here because that's not what this show's about. But there are a lot of people that do not like Elon Musk, and so it's just a way for a lot of people to not support whatever he is as a person or whatever. So, but yeah, there's been a crush of Knoll fans on Blue Sky, and it's quite a bit different than Twitter. But I mean, it's similar as far as the way the app works, but it's not. There's not all the
I like the drama though.
yeah, but there's not. It's not there. And so if you need a break from the drama and the negativity and all that, Blue Sky is a little more refreshing.
But Vince, where else will I hear people like Matt Gates talk about amazing things that they're doing?
Well, but that's part of the fun of it, right? So
Yeah,
if you're interested in some drama and you got some time for that, you
yeah,
pop on over to Twitter and or X or whatever and do it, right? But if
yeah.
you're like, man, I'm just tired of all this crap, then you can go over to this other one
That's what
and
EA Sports College Football is for me.
kind of refresh your mind a little bit. And you can pop. It's kind of like the best of all worlds.
Yeah. Speaking of the best of all worlds, we will do a members only show next week. So 6:30 p.m. next Thursday.
On
Members only.
Thanksgiving Day.
No, no. Fuck.
Oh, hey, edit
We
timestamp.
hold on. We will release a members only video on Thanksgiving Day for your viewing pleasure that we have pre-recorded. Huh? Huh?
Yeah,
That sounds
yeah,
good,
we could
right?
do that. We could do that for
Yeah.
sure. We could do a members only show and pre-record it and release it. Hey man, talk about diehards. If you are finishing the pumpkin pie or the cranberry sauce or whatever, and you're like, man, I gotta watch Garden Old. That's what you do.
That's what's for dessert. Now I have to ask you the most important question of the night, Vince, before we wrap up.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you my answer in a second. Are you a canned cranberry guy or are you a homemade cranberry sauce guy?
Which one do you think, Ryan?
I am a gelatin out of the can, slice it up, and my wife is horrified every Thanksgiving that she makes this from scratch beautiful cranberry dish, and I'm like, give me that out of can, slice it up, and I'll eat the whole thing. What are you,
Looks
Vince?
like the can. Looks like the can. I don't eat any of it. I do not like cranberry sauce. I do not like it. Sam, I am. I don't eat it.
That's interesting. I'm telling you, my wife every time she sees it, she just shakes her head. I think it's one of the most disappointing things I do in our marriage.
Well,
Yeah,
it could be worse,
it
right?
could be. Yeah.
It could be worse. As we wrap this up, just a quick reminder: if you're going to the game this weekend, come on by Chiefs Field. There's going to be no tailgate. Ryan and I are not going to do a tailgate, but come on by if you don't mind and come watch the show. And the weather is going to be beautiful. So looking forward to it.
Well, Vince, it's been a good night. There's a lot to look forward to as far as if you guys like FSU uh, breaking news stuff over the next couple weeks. It'll be interesting for all of us. So stay tuned to us. We're going to do shows, and even during the holiday weeks, we're going to bring you some kind of content, whether it be pre-recorded or live. We'll let you guys know on X. Uh,
Hey, can you we can do a show of you opening your gifts in front of your tree in front of your new house.
that would be adorable. Kristen, though, told me, sorry, my wife told me that this year, because of the deposit for this house to move into, that there will be no Christmas.
Christmas has been canceled.
I also have a cruise on February 1st, so
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, everyone, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for always watching and supporting the Garden Old Show. Vince and I very much appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And hey, still send the Chiefs all the damn time.
It's all the damn time.
Hey, Vince, one thing I want to say. One thing I want to say. No matter what, even if we lose this weekend, it never gets old to say. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Go Noles.
Go Knowles.